undefeated all-winner for this.
It's the biggest race we have all year long.
The icons of this sport have all starred on its biggest stage.
It's the great American race. Trust me.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Pull them belts tight one last time, boys. Light the fire.
Push coming now for Harvick. Oh, and around goes a couple cars. Priest upside down. He's barrel rolling through the grass.
You got plenty of money. Don't need that to keep racing. Is it worth the risk to keep on going?
Sure, to win.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D.Y., joined by one of my best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly. Eric Dovin couldn't make it tonight. He's got the big old vid, so we wish him nothing but the best. Send some chicken soup for his soul to this week. But hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had yourselves a Tyler Reddick type of weekend. He was the big winner down in Homestead Miami Speedway, getting himself locked into the championship for joining Joey Logano and two more yet to be determined next week. Hope you're enjoying the show. Follow us. It's getting near the end of the season. If you're not following us by now, you're probably not even listening anymore.
Honest to God, right?
For real. But how's your weekend, Matt? How you doing?
It was fantastic, man. It was fantastic. Went
You were all over the place. Had a little adventure, right?
Yeah. Went out to New Jersey to see Notre Dame lay an ass whooping on the Navy, on the Naval Academy. I root for Navy 364 days out of the year, but not on Saturday. God damn it! No, it was a great time. It was a great time. Steph and I went out. We met my dad and stepmom at the game out in the parking lot. We actually ended up where we parked and where their bus trip was like 200 yards away. So not even 200 feet away, probably.
Nice.
So got to have some parking lot beers and had a good time, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you know who I ran into? I didn't even tell you this. You
What's
know who
that?
I ran into?
Who's that?
Friend of the show, Justin Pierce, was there.
Oh, nice. Shout out Justin Pierce. Man.
I either saw a Snapchat or I think maybe so his wife and my wife are friends, and I don't know if they connected or something, and so he calls me and he's like, are you there? I'm like, yeah. And he ended up only being a couple hundred yards away from us. So he came over, we had a beer together, bullshitted for 20 minutes. And yeah.
I tell you what, he lucked out. There's nothing worse than like just wandering around a parking lot looking for the person, you know, you're like on the phone. You're like, give me a landmark. It's like, well, there's this guy with a giant flag.
Right. Yeah, I see a big Notre Dame flag. Well, there's 4,000 of them.
Yeah. It's always wild too that you run into somebody, you know, like out of nowhere. Right. Obviously like that's something you go to, but like you ever go on vacation, you're just walking the street and all of a sudden like, oh shit, it's Joe Dog in Delaware. Which happened to me. I ran into Joe Dog when we were in Delaware over the summer.
What are the chances, right?
Right, just walking down the street. He spotted me too. That's one of those things like I'm too aloof to notice people like around and everything. Like we had a listener, Rebel Soul or something like that on he comments on YouTube every week now. Great commenter too. He's been commenting a lot lately, but he spotted me at Watkins Glen when I was up there. I'm like, man, I have my head so far up my ass all the time. Like I'll be in town and I'm not seeing people.
I'm the opposite. Like when I'm out and about, whether it's locally or at, like I said, a game or something, I'm always looking, you know, do I know anyone? Or, you know, I'm always kind of aware of my surroundings. I don't know where that stems from in my life, but like I'm one of those guys that like, if I can, I like to sit with like like a restaurant, like my back against the wall, just so I can see what's going on. I just want to know what's going on. You know what I mean? So I'm the opposite in that realm.
Similar to that, I like to sit with the waitress coming towards me. That way they don't see the hair from the back and they call me a lady.
Has that happened?
All the time.
No. You think the beard would be a dead giveaway?
That's the thing. They're coming from the back. They don't see it.
True.
And what'll happen is, like, I don't care. It always makes me laugh. It really doesn't bother me. But I do it so that they don't feel embarrassed, because usually they do. Where they'll be walking up like, hey, ladies, how's it going? And I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And then, like, they turn beet red. So
You're not a lady.
You're not a lady. Get the hell out of my. But whatchamacallit, Friday, we were at a Halloween party up Montage Mountain, and some coworkers saw me. They're in a different department. They're also younger, so they didn't say anything. But I'm like, head up my ass the whole entire night. Never saw anyone I knew, you know, like that type of deal.
I'll pull this move. And so I think part of the reason why I'm always on alert to see if I know somebody is so I can spot them first and ignore them.
Duck out. Oh, yeah.
Or like just make sure I don't make eye contact. Yeah. I mean, it depends, right? If it's you I see out in public, you know,
it's different.
I mean, it happened. What we're talking about happened at the PNC game between you and me, or at the Rail Riders game at PNC Field.
Whatchamacallit, I like quick interactions where it's like where neither of us want to really talk to each other, but we'll acknowledge it, where it's like, hey, I had it. Your good buddy Andre, saw him at the grocery store like 6-7 weeks ago. Sunday morning, I was just running in for bacon to throw on the Blackstone, and I think he was doing the full order with the wife. And we locked eyes and go, hey, how's it going? He goes, I want to kill myself grocery shopping. I go, hey, here's what it is. And he just kept walking. I'm like, perfect interaction. No need for small talk. But
anyone like outside of like the people that you see, maybe I think the line of demarcation is if you're willing to like wish them a happy birthday on Facebook, or if you're willing to like a picture or something, then it's like okay to have that quick little interaction. But if you're not willing to like a post or something that they do and you see them out in public, I'm going to try to divert my eyes away from them as fast as humanly possible, because I don't want to have that catching up conversation. And especially if I'm shopping, like I'm one of those guys that if I'm shopping, I'm there to shop and then I want to get the hell out of it.
I'm on a mission, in and out. I know exactly what I want, you know?
Yeah.
I did. And you want to know what? That's why I go to stores like 2 towns over. I don't know if anyone listening can relate to that, but I'll go like 8 miles away. I won't drive the 3 miles to Walmart. I'll drive 9 miles to the other Walmart. You know, I go grocery shopping in a completely different town.
When we lived down in Bloomsburg for those 4 years, that was one of the best parts about living quote unquote out of town. You know, it's 50 minutes away, but still, I knew that I wasn't going to see anybody I knew.
Oh yeah.
It was great. When I went out to shop, I knew that the chances of me running into someone I know were very slim.
Unless it's like a coworker.
Like that relaxing, peaceful, because you don't want to have to deal with it.
No, you're just going in and out, you know? That's it. And you want to wait, so I hate to even say this. I run into our friend Mike Keeney at the grocery store every now and then. I know he's not listening.
Who's one of our closest friends.
He's one of my best friends, where I talk to Mike Keeney every single day, you know? And I love seeing him at the grocery store. The problem is we'll see each other at the front of the grocery store, and we'll hey, what's going on? Say hi to the kid. Usually has the kids, and like, oh, what's going on? Uncle Wadey, you know, all this stuff. But then after that, you keep running into them throughout the store. And that's the part I don't like, because it's just awkward where it's like, hey, what's up?
As close as you are with them, it's still awkward.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you just talked to you 20 minutes ago. Oh. So then I'll make it a little bit awkward, where I'll just start pointing oh, you're going with that, you know, point out things in the cart, you know. But man, I guess we should probably start talking about NASCAR.
Let's get into it.
Your Fighting Irish won, though. We got NASCAR weekend to talk about. But first, let's talk about the NASCAR news. Just a couple stories. One, 50-some years in the making. NASCAR announced Bobby Allison as the winner of the Cup Series race at Bowman Gray Stadium on August 6, 1971. The record books have been updated to reflect Allison is the sole possession of 4th place on the all-time Cup Series win list with 85 wins. Apparently there was some sort of controversy over the last 50 years over that race, and NASCAR, I guess, did a little extra digging into the books. Maybe they discovered something in discovery of their lawsuit here. They're like, oh yeah, this record probably should be changed.
Probably fix this one.
Oh, whoops-a-doodles. Do you have any thoughts on Bobby Allison getting that sole spot of 4th place with another win there?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I guess if they're righting a wrong, then better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll get send a trophy to the Allison family, or if you'll get any extra prize money.
I don't know. That's a good point.
Adjust the first place prize money for inflation, and then they get a nice injection of a couple $1 million cash.
I think it was just a ceremonious thing. You know what I mean?
That's bullshit. I want the trophy and the money too.
I know.
What should we call it? Your boy in the Xfinity series, Justin Allgaier, re-signed a multi-year deal to remain with Junior Motorsports through 2026. So nice to see Lil Gator re-sign. I don't see him really going anywhere else in his career.
I don't think he wants to. I think he's done some relief duty for Hendrick, obviously, because of the Junior Motorsports Hendrick connection. But yeah, I mean, dude, he's an Xfinity regular. That's where he's at, man. He runs good there. He wins races. Would love to see him get that elusive championship at some point. But I mean, he's the flagship car for that Junior Motorsports program, and yeah, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer for them to. I would probably venture to guess that Little Gator has a quote unquote endless extension with Junior Motorsports as long as he wants. I would guess, just because he brings the sponsorship, he's got that relationship with the Earnhardt family, he's been there forever, he's still performing. I would think that he's got that spot for as long as he wants it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think he has a really great deal with Brandt. Yep. I don't see them going really anywhere, and like you said, I'm wondering if he ever wins the championship, if that's when he'll kind of hang it up. Because how old is Justin Allgaier now? Probably about 36 or so, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably a safe bet. Are you on it?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick just because I'm curious, because he's had a nice long career.
He's been around forever. I mean, He was always kind of a backmarker guy in the Cup Series, and then dropped down and then just stayed there,
Yeah, 38. So yeah. And you want to what? I appreciate guys like Justin Allgaier in the lower series too, because I like that little bit of consistency. I like a veteran presence to kind of show these kids how to do it, and I think he does a great job at that role alone. Let alone, yeah, like you said, he's still performing at a high level. He's first in points right now, so.
Dude, it's got to be invaluable to Junior Motorsports too, just with all the young kids that they have coming through their program every year. Just to have that experience for a teammate, to be able to rely on that. Let them know what to expect at tracks, what the car should feel like, yada yada yada.
Absolutely, help break things down, and he's invaluable to that organization. So definitely a great signing there. And then let's see, this one's pretty interesting. So you actually brought this up a while ago in our group chat, where you're like, I could see this happening, and I could see this happening too. Sports Business Journal Adam Stern reports NASCAR has no comment after the sport was listed as a possible event for the new Qiddiya. I looked up the pronunciation.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
It's the Qiddiya Tourism and Entertainment Project, currently under construction in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So they have this giant road course looking racetrack mock-up that they have. It does. It looks so fake. It looks like a drawing out of Disney Pixar's Cars.
Doesn't it? Honest to God, though.
Yeah. I haven't seen any actual pictures of it, but that was floating around today. I guess they posted future events. They have F1 listed, all this stuff, and then NASCAR was also listed. I wonder too, though. NASCAR has a European touring series also. So
is that still active?
It is.
I honestly don't know. I know Bobby Labonte went over there for a little while to kind of screw around.
It is active because I was actually watching a race one Sunday morning. I was doing my my Excel spreadsheet for NASCAR Fantasy with the practice times and all that.
Owned by NASCAR?
Yeah, it's owned by NASCAR. It's NASCAR sanctioned.
You would think that we would hear more about it.
Yeah, they don't promote it at all.
How plugged in we are to like everyone we follow on Twitter, all the media, all the NASCAR personalities. You would just think we would hear more about it.
That's the thing too. There's not a whole lot of names. Like the only American I know in the field is Ryan Vargas. If you remember him from the Xfinity series, like that's where he went. And then like I don't know, like just it's like a lot of guys from Germany and stuff. It's all road course racing too. And the cars kind of look like old modifieds, like kind of like the Cars Tour cars, kind of, which it was weird to see. But I watched a little bit of it a while ago. It was pretty good.
I'm assuming it's majority road courses. Do they have a lot of ovals in the UK?
I don't think they do here. Let's see. NASCAR Europe. Euro Series. Let's see, the Whelen Euro Series. Yeah, it's owned by NASCAR, I guess. I don't even know. That's ADHD stuff. But yeah, I think it's similar to NASCAR Mexico Series and the NASCAR Whelen Modify or the Whelen Canadian Series and stuff. But yeah, you don't really hear much about those series either, except for when Daniel Suarez gets brought up about Mexico and they talk about the NASCAR Mexico Series that he came up. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You would think they would promote that more, but I guess there's no television deal for America though. So why promote it in America if you really can't watch it?
That's true.
I was watching it on like a live stream on YouTube that I found. So, but yeah, I wonder if that'll probably be a series that would definitely go to Saudi Arabia to race. You know, it's close enough to Europe.
Maybe that's where they were making the connection.
But at the same time, I could see NASCAR trying to take a lot of that sweet Saudi money and packing up all the cars on fucking, I don't know, airplanes and shit and sending the teams over. They did it to Japan in the 90s. They're doing it to Mexico next season. So
I wish Eric wasn't sick.
Yeah, he's got big opinions on it.
He's got huge opinions on it. We got a sneak preview of it in our group text when this kind of news got broken this morning. Not news, because it's not news. It's just I don't even know what it is. It's a aggregate type story.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eric had classic Eric ranting opinions on this whole thing. And I obviously have my own opinions. Like you said, we might have even brought it up on the show a year or two ago. When the whole, PGA Golf Tour thing was happening with Saudi Arabia, with the Saudis. And I said, you watch, the Saudis are going to come for NASCAR at some point. They're going to come knocking.
Oh, yeah. And
here it is. And let's say NASCAR denies the invitation to go run this series. The Saudis get bent out of shape and they say, all right, well, we'll pay you $15 billion for your whole series then. And the France family, those greedy bastards are just the type of greedy family to say, sure, we'll sell the sport for $15 billion to Saudi investors. Yeah. The same assholes who funded 9/11. Sure, we'll do that. and then then NASCAR will truly turn into the F1 series where they're going to be touring all over the place. Don't be surprised if that happens. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, just watch what's happening here.
Yeah.
This is just the tip of the iceberg with them saying that, hey, we've extended NASCAR an invitation to come race here. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
And it doesn't even have to be the whole series. It could just be a team. That was one of the stipulations in the charter agreement that they wanted. Was it like hedge funds to be able to invest in teams and whatnot? Like not hedge fund, private equity firms. Right. So like private equity is private equity. It's private money that just buys into a team. So like I don't know. And they wanted NASCAR to be able to buy teams too. So I don't know. Now we're getting very messy in terms of business and politics. So let's talk about the NASCAR wet weather tire test at Homestead. Goodyear said they were pleased with the results. It's a good starting point. There was a lot of spray with the water coming off the back of the tires. That's to be expected. And of course, the speeds were much lower than you'd be used to, but it seems like a good starting point to maybe see some sort of wet weather tire at an oval track with higher speeds. What do you think about that? You think it's like a good idea to even try? I don't know. I feel like
selfishly, all right. So think about this too. Just speaking of weather and whatnot, we were on a rate. We were on a rate this year of just blowing by the number of weather related events that happened for NASCAR compared to last year. I think last year, the number was 7 or 8 races were affected one way or another by weather. And by like mid-July or mid-June of this year, we were already at 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And really, since I mark it down in my notes when the last weather related event happened, it's been since Michigan won. Let's see here. Give me a second.
August, right? August or September? August, I think.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Tyler Reddick won that race.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Right?
10, 11. Yeah, 11 races it's been since we've been affected by weather.
Did Tyler Reddick win that race? He won that race, right? Yeah.
Michigan?
Yeah, he won. That was the second win of the season. I don't remember that race, but what happened?
You know why that was a Monday race?
Was it a Monday race?
It was a Monday race because I remember where I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching at work?
No,
Never. Anyways, speaking of Tyler Reddick, we got a win to talk about. But first, we had a truck race and Xfinity race. Grant Enfinger won his second playoff race in a row, getting himself locked into the round of 4. And then Austin Hill won the Xfinity race. They both happened on Saturday. I didn't get to see them. You were at MetLife Stadium. I'm assuming you didn't get to see any of it either. Apparently there was a huge controversy in the truck race. I forget the 2 guys that got into each other. One guy purposely wrecked, who was it? Matt Mills, I believe. And
I saw the car that it was on fire. I saw there was a bad fire in one of the wrecks.
Real bad. He was just released from the hospital a couple of days ago too. So he's doing well right now. And I'm assuming that whatchamacallit, the guy who did it, I forget who it was, he got help for 2 laps. I'm wondering if we'll see any further penalties or not. I'm not sure what'll happen since NASCAR policed that one during the race too. So that might be it. And then Tyler Reddick, he led 8 times for 97 laps, got himself locked into the championship race. 3 hours, 5 minutes, 44 seconds. We saw 6 cautions for 30 laps, 33 lead changes among 11 different drivers. Your top 5, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Chase Elliott. Matt, you don't have a race grade this week, do you?
No, I don't have a race grade, Whitey. I don't have a checkers or wreckers. We were away, right? We were away Friday all day Saturday into Sunday. Got home and spending time with Jackson, and the race was on, and I decided, because of the whole Logano situation, and I kind of told you this, it has nothing to do with Logano. My driver is Martin Truex Jr. You plot Martin Truex Jr. into Logano's spot, and I'd still be salty about it. Now, would I be a little less salty if it was my guy? Yeah, naturally, right? Yeah. But it would still be like, we have a guy who is totally undeserving to be taking up a spot in the championship. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. And I had better things to do. And for the first time, and it sucks, man. Like, this isn't a stance I want to take. And the only person I'm spiting is myself, right? The NASCAR is not going to miss my one view.
Yeah.
But it was just a principle thing for me. You know me. It gets in my own way sometimes, but I'm a principled guy. And I just decided for the first time in literally a decade, to actively not watch the race. That changed when you guys were like, dude, this is a really great race.
It's like you're missing
this is
something special here.
I'm like, you know what? My activism, what do they call it? Activism.
Yeah, your protest.
My protest with 60 laps to go is over. I'm tuning in for this, and I'm happy I did. Right, we saw a great ending to a race, but I had better things to do, and I wasn't going to let NASCAR kind of waste my time for the 34th week of the year. So it's over. I'm good. I'm going back to Martinsville. I didn't see a reason for me to be wasting my time watching it. And so, I got that out of my system, and I'm good to go now. Watch the last 2 races of the season.
Listen, you know me. I'm also hard-headed, and I do appreciate taking a hard stance. So I understand. I understand why you did it.
I love NASCAR. Listen, and I always will. And I'm not going anywhere. I couldn't. I had things to do that day that I wanted to do more than NASCAR. And like I said, it was just I chose other things over NASCAR for the first time in, like I said, a decade. And I wish I would have picked a race that sucked.
I would have picked Martinsville instead.
Of course, it's my Matt Reilly luck that's what happened. But I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for the racing fans that saw an A+ race. I saw an A+ finish of a race.
I even tried to sway you in early on when you said, like, I'll catch up with the sport at Daytona. I go, I don't know, Reddick, Larson, and Bell starting top 3 at Homestead. I'm hoping for the best race of the year today, and pretty sure we saw probably the best race of the year on Sunday. And then
I really cut my nose off to spite my face, huh?
Even at 4 o'clock, I go, Matt, I'm not even lying. Truex and Barry are both having themselves a pretty good day. You go, good. I'm happy for both of them because Truex got stage points in the first 2 stages. He was running top 10 all day long. I saw Josh Berry crack the top 10. I'm like, man, Matt's missing like probably the best race of the year so far because
picked a great time to take a stance, huh?
If anything, I would have just skipped the championship race and said, fuck it, watched Homestead, historically great track, and Martinsville, who knows what kind of mayhem will happen.
Listen to me. I could be a real man and look at you and say, this is nobody's to blame but me. But no, I won't do that. I'm going to take the low road and not the high road. Blake Harris, if this gets back to you, Blake Harris, you son of a bitch, if this gets back to you, this is on you, pal.
Yeah.
You made me miss the best race of the year.
How the fuck you going to get your car disqualified from the Roval? That son of a bitch, Blake Harris. You don't deserve the success you've had with that 48 car.
Sure, you don't deserve a lot of
life.
things.
Yeah. Well, I gave it an A+. I thought it was a great race. I know I'm biased because my guy won in a thrilling finish, but that was just the added plus. I already thought it was an A before that. This race was really everything I want to see. We saw all 7 playoff drivers fighting for position in the top 10 all day long. Joey Logano nowhere to be found. I guess that was a choice. We saw varying strategies, creating comers and goers. Tires mattered. Pit cycles mattered. Man, Matt, you honestly, you missed the end of stage 2. The end of stage 2 was awesome.
I will honestly, if I can find some time, I will at the very least go back and watch the highlights. But I would like to see this race.
I would.
So now that my protest is over, now that like I said, cut the old nose off to spite the face. I will try to find time to watch because it sounded like a fantastic race. I mean, if the last 60 laps were any indication, then yeah.
I would skip over stage 1. I don't really remember much from stage 1. Stage 2 is where things got really interesting because you saw guys try to go like with a long run. You saw guys try to short pit. Like Blaney was short pitting the whole time. And then like Denny was like trying to split the stage half and half. That was one of the most exciting things was the end of stage 2 because we saw Denny Hamlin He came off the pits. He pitted later than everybody else, blended off perfectly where he had a bunch of clean air and just ran them down, all while Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott were battling for the lead. It was a really great stage 2. And then stage 3 was just as great, where we saw kind of the same deal where guys trying different strategies, trying to figure out what was going to work. Tyler Reddick was on his own strategy where he was basically begging for a caution because they had like a 5th place car. He wasn't going to drive to the front. And sure as shit, that caution came out right after he got back on the lead lap. I was losing my goddamn mind because in the group chat, like at that point, I'm like, you want to know what? Now I'm going to say something here that might be shocking, but I understand your protest for Joey Logano because honestly, I don't think Tyler Reddick's playoff performance deserved a championship run either, except for what he did yesterday. That made up for it all.
But he had a whole season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it was one of the right cars are in the championship. The only thing is, too, again, take the name Logano out of this because I don't want people to miss the point.
Could have been anyone in 15th place.
Joey Logano stance. This is a NASCAR stance for me. This is a playoff bullshit system stance for me. This has nothing to do with Joey Logano, albeit it is definitely salt in the wound that it is Joey Logano, right?
Yeah, but it just makes it worse.
But you're gonna have at least what we have. Christopher Bell, Larson, Byron, and Denny. Let's use those 4.
Yeah.
Throw Chase Elliott in there because
Chase has been super consistent in the
nobody's
playoffs. Talking
about, and it's crazy to say because he's the most popular driver. No one's really talking about Chase Elliott, but he's had a great season too. You've got 4, maybe 5 guys that way more deserve a shot at the title than Joey Logano does. And what is it? At least 2 out of those 5 are going to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now, I'm assuming Christopher Bell's going to make it in.
You would think. You would think Larson's going to make it in.
I don't know. That's the thing because right now, Christopher Bell's 29 points to good. William Byron's only 7 points to good and Larson's 7 points out. So though that differential could be eaten up by qualifying position, right? Plus
Denny with Martinsville, he's really good there. So you never know what kind of Denny's going to come to the race. Blaney could easily win a Martinsville race.
And Chase Elliott's won Martinsville to lock himself into the round of 4.
Yeah.
So
you've got 2 spots open with 7 guys going after, or what is it? The 6 guys going after it. And 4 of those guys aren't going to make it in.
Yeah.
All of them arguably, like I said, deserving more than Joey Logano is of getting in.
At the same time, and the problem is Homestead justifies the whole entire playoff system to NASCAR because they got exactly what they wanted when they developed the playoff system. They got the drama and all that.
Yeah. My stance would be a lot lessened, I guess you could say, for a lack of better terms, if Logano wasn't eliminated from the playoffs and then added back in because
disqualification,
48 team got disqualified, and it's really it's the, again, like I said, I was joking, but I'm not joking. Blake Harris, it's your fault we have this mess right now. You know what I mean? And it's just I don't know. It just really exposes how much of a bullshit system we have, I guess. I know I'm complaining. I know I sound like a fucking whiny bitch. I get it. But it's the bigger picture that I just want legitimacy with our sport because I love the sport so much. And I just think it takes away from the legitimacy of whoever our champion is. Unless Reddick is the one who wins it because he was our regular season champion. He's been the most consistent. You look at the numbers. There's no arguing that. If Tyler Reddick wins the championship, all right, then all of this was for naught because I think the right guy won. Or even a Larson or a Bell.
I can see pretty much anyone but Logano winning this champion and being that was a deserving champion. They worked the system the way they needed to, all this stuff. The problem is we're so used to Joey Logano just scumming his way along every other year, where it's it gets tiresome. it gets tiresome that they don't do anything all season long. Get lucky and win a race early on, kind of float the rest of the way, kind of suck it up in the playoffs. Like Logano sucked in the playoffs, and then he won Atlanta, where it's like, yeah, just another fluke. Like, and that's the problem with the track layouts too, where you have Talladega, you have Atlanta in it now. It's a super speedway, like you're taking that out of the driver's hands, but at least at Homestead, like it is in the driver's hands. That's a driver's track. You know what I mean? So like, and that kind of justifies where I'm like, yeah, Reddick does deserve to be in the round of 4. But at the same time, if he didn't make it in, I'd be like, yeah, you want to know what? They fell apart in the playoffs. Probably didn't deserve to get that far, you know, like one of those deals. You know what I mean?
He went up and legitimately took that win on Sunday. He legitimately got himself into the championship round, and he's earned it all the way up to this point. You know what I mean? He had that playoff moment where he went up. Like, people are saying like Blaney gave that one away. Like, I disagree, man. Like, we know I bust your balls, you being a Reddick fan, I bust your balls about how aggressive Reddick is all the time, and it usually backfires. But keep being aggressive, because it's eventually going to pay off. Yeah. And it paid off in the biggest way. The only way it could be bigger is if that was at Phoenix.
It's the Kyle Larson stuff, you know. It's like checkers or wreckers. Even if you go back and listen. If you go back and listen to last week's episode, you're about to pick Tyler Reddick, but he gets so inconsistent when it comes to this type of stuff because he overdrives the car and he puts himself in bad positions. He did it at Las Vegas. He flipped over, you know? Yeah. But yeah, just in general, I thought it was an A race. My guy winning gave an A+. Like, the problem is right now we're very close to the end of this race, but do you think this is one of those ones like this goes in the highlight career highlight package, right? Like, oh, for
sure,
right?
I would think so. Especially for Reddick, or just
in general, like, well, yeah, like for Reddick for sure, but like just in general, like, wow, that was like one of the craziest finishes to a playoff race, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, nothing's ever gonna beat the Hail Melon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's up there with one of the most memorable playoff moments we have. I would think so.
But I thought it was great.
If it's round 1 or 2, like maybe, but because it got him into the championship race, like, yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially like, even like, that's the thing. I think we maybe not like the excitement of that last lap pass, but like if any of those guys made it in, like, Blaney was outside the cut line. Hamlin was outside the cut line. Christopher Bell was running down Reddick behind him too. And then Chase Elliott was in the top 5. He was right in the mix, you know, like if any of those guys won, it still would have been like an A race. Like, wow, that was an amazing playoff race because of all of the buildup. So yeah, I thought it was a great weekend. Let's see, since you don't have a checkers and records,
Eric did send his checkers and records in because I don't have one. I could read his.
There you go. You want to do that?
Yeah. All right. Eric's check. Did you give yours?
No, not yet. I'll give mine after.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So Eric's checkers goes to the 77, which I agree with. I'll read the rest of what he said. And this is verbatim. Checkers goes to the 77. Great fucking day running top 10 with the playoff drivers all day racing clean. And I agree. And also, I wanted to point out, Whitey, was it you who sent us that picture of the average finishing position of the regular season versus the average finishing position of the playoffs?
Yeah. On Twitter here.
If you can retweet that, and then anyone who wants to see that, Whitey's going to retweet it from our Twitter handle. But the 77, I don't know if you noticed it, but the 77 in the playoffs is up there with the big boys as far as average finishing position.
He is. In fact, he's in front of the 22, Joey Logano.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, that's too funny. 77. He's got about a 16th place running average finish. He is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got the 9th best average finish in the playoffs so far. And even his average finish it's been pretty solid all season long too. His regular average season finish was like in between. It was about 18.5. So like not bad at all. He started the race in 15th, finished 9th. He gained stage points in both stages. So like Eric said, he was running up front with the big boys all day long and racing really clean too. So yeah, I like that one for sure.
I do too. And then Wreckers goes to Blaney. Plain and simple, can't give the top to the 45 in that scenario, especially in Miami. Can't argue that. You can't. But I'm going to try to argue it. Not argue it. I'm going to just play a little devil's advocate. And then just go back to what I said 3 minutes ago. And I think Reddick made that happen.
Yeah.
I think Reddick made that. I think he had the momentum, and that was his line. And I guess Blaney could have stayed up there, but then what is he going to run into the back? Are you going to run into the risk of Reddick running into the back? I don't know. Like, you don't know what's going through their heads, but I more lean towards, like I said before, Reddick took that race instead of Blaney giving that race away.
I think so too. I think whatchamacallit. So Blaney, when he got out, he goes, I don't know how that move worked. And Tyler Reddick didn't know either. So like in my mind, Blaney probably took the preferred line where he was like, all right, let me protect my bottom because that's how I got Denny a couple laps earlier than that, like don't give him that. And then, yeah, I mean, Reddick was on older tires. So you would think like, yeah, I've got the tire advantage at this point, even though they were only like 6 laps or whatever. It was like 1.5 laps of like going hard on the tire. And then the rest were pace laps, but that makes a difference too. So I'm kind of up in the fence. Like, yeah, at the same time, it's like, in hindsight, it's like, man, how do you leave the top open with Tyler Reddick? But at the same time, let us know what you guys think. Comment on the YouTube video because I'm curious. Because like, it's not a hill I'm willing to die on that Reddick took that race away because I definitely see it both ways. But I'm curious what everyone else is kind of thinking. Like, did Blaney give that one up or did Reddick go take it? I think he went and took it.
I think he did too. I personally do too.
Because he even said like he was just trying to get side by side, get to his door. That way Blaney can't like kind of come up and it kind of ruins the exit. And he didn't even need to. He was around him by the end of turn 4 like that. It was fucking wild. It was wild.
How much did the tower hate that win?
Oh, for
how
sure.
How much did that tower hate Michael Jordan being interviewed
there, right there
How
on television?
That tower hate Michael Jordan celebrating with Reddick on national television.
They're gonna hate it when he wins a championship in fucking Phoenix.
I'm actually, honestly, I'm hardcore rooting for Reddick for that, for you, obviously, but for also for that reason. Or if Denny makes it, for Denny to win the championship, again for that reason, because. Guess what? I mean, Denny's going to have a charter next year for the 11 car, but what is our defending champion, the 45, not going to have a charter next season?
Right. He's going to have to race his way into Daytona.
Right.
There's no championship provisional, like shit like that. Yeah, you're defending champion. So I don't know, man.
Whatever makes it more messy for NASCAR, the corporation. Let's make it as messy as possible.
I agree. I was fucking I was sitting in this chair watching this race, losing my mind.
Sure. I remember back in 2020, I was still a Chase fan. I still root for Chase. Listen, I do, but he was my driver at that point. And when he won in Martinsville to go to the championship, same thing.
Yeah.
I was on cloud 9, man. It was awesome.
I got real so. I just want to walk you through because I made myself laugh as I was doing this. So like on that restart, 6 to go, I'm fucking smacking my leg like a jockey whipping the horse, right?
You don't have to explain yourself to me. I'm familiar.
Right? And then like he fell back a little bit. I'm like, you want to what? I'm not even mad. They fucking tried everything they could. Like that was it. And then once Denny and fucking Blaney were battling, I'm like watching the times. I'm like, they're kind of catching. He's kind of catching him a little bit, and he starts getting closer. And I'm like, well, let's fucking go. And I start smacking that whip again. And sure as it's going, like I'm fucking smacking my leg. Go, yeah! I just lost it. Where like I dropped my phone, and I just sat and absorbed it all. And I'm like, I can't believe what I just watched. I'm like, I lost my fucking mind, and I might have shed a couple tears.
Right.
That win was bigger for me than his first win in Eric's garage. I think
it's huge, and it shows you care, and it shows you're a real fan. It reminds me, so obviously a little bit different of a situation. Notre Dame played Texas A&M first game of the season, and it was still warm out, so we were outside under the gazebo watching it on the TV out there, and we have the Ring camera that kind of shines right on the patio. And
I remember you sent the video.
I don't even remember doing it. It has nothing to do with because I was drinking. I just don't. I was caught up in the moment. Notre Dame scored a go-ahead touchdown late in that game, which eventually won the game. And when they scored that touchdown, I must have gotten up and did like some sort of shimmy celebration shimmy dance celebration across the patio, and I don't even remember doing it. And then Steph was like, that was what was that? Like it was like a day or two later. She was like, what was that?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And so she was like, see if you can pull it up. And so I went back and I looked and I'm like, what was that? But it's just like the adrenaline of it, like the emotions of it, because we're so invested in these things, and it's just like when it happens and you're so elated, you're slapping your thigh, you're doing shimmies across the patio. That's why sports are awesome. That's why.
I was trying to explain that to Bree before the race too, because she's like, because I was making a big deal about getting home on time because it was Homestead. I'm like, Tyler Reddick's on the pole. It's going to be a great day. And she's like, last week you were quitting watching NASCAR. You were sick of it all. Yeah. And you were saying Tyler Reddick was worthless and all this stuff. I go, yeah, but that was last week. This week, it's a whole new week. He's on the pole.
What was the meme I sent you guys when I told you I'm not watching? It was the old guy sitting there pouting on the bench, looking like he was pissed off at his wife, and it's raining out, but he's still holding the umbrella over her, like, hey, we might be fighting right now, but I still care about you. Kinda. That was me on Sunday.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah, same place, man. I understand your position, but man, did you miss a good one?
I couldn't do that for like Richmond or something.
Yeah, I was just be like, yeah, you want to what? I'm sitting the championship race out. That's when you should have did it. Like watch all the good stuff up until Phoenix that we know is going to be bad.
It's as much as I fucking hate Phoenix and I hate that race, and I know it's probably not going to be a good race. It's still the pomp and circumstance of it being the championship.
Yeah,
there's still that feeling that you get watching that race, whether you guys in it or not. So no, I'm not going to miss the championship for anything.
That's the thing too. Like I've been dogging the championship format with you guys all season long too, but at the same time, it's still exciting. It still means something, We're like. Even if the format's broken and there's tons of flaws in it all, it's still going for a championship. I just hope if it's Joey Logano, I'm just I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to watch that race. Hopefully,
it's not going to be. It's not going to be. It can't be.
I think it's Tyler Reddick or Christopher Bell's year.
I agree.
But we will see. My checkers for the weekend. So last weekend, I gave my records to Kyle Larson's pit crew. And this weekend, I have to give them the checkers because it was after he spun, causing that late race caution. His diffuser was down. And they had a great pit stop. Not only did that, the pit crew member, I think his rear tire carrier, had a barrel roll to flip the diffuser back into place to clip it back on. And they did it. They lost 6 spots.
Yep.
Where for all of that stuff going on, just spun, you have to get the diffuser back up to only lose 6 spots. I think they completely redeemed themselves from last week. Unfortunately, he did, because they lost so many spots. Larson only finished 13th, which I still think is a very good spot to finish for the circumstances of it all. Like
the thing that sucks though is he's -7 now, so those
in the point standings
spots were huge.
They were definitely huge, and you want to know what? And that's the thing. Like it sucks because no matter who would have won that race on Sunday, like they were all below the cut line, so they all would have forced Larson out. So just unfortunate that I don't even know what kind of hole he was trying to fill with Austin Dillon there and stuff. I don't think Austin Dillon did anything wrong either. Larson just, being too aggressive. And then my wreckers goes to the 7-car. Justin Haley doing 7-car stuff, man. I don't know if it's because they switched over recently and he's still getting used to the Chevy and the crew chief or what, but he qualified super well. He was sitting in the top 10 for qualifying. I think he qualified, 8th? Here, where is the 7-car? Now, I qualified 10th, finished 34th, and it's because he spun on the first, I don't know if does he have a new spotter? He probably has a new spotter too. Spun himself out off the nose of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the first lap. That is some 7-car Corey LaJoie shit. And then his day got worse later on. He got turned by Ty Gibbs. I don't know what caused that, but Ty Gibbs fucking turned him in the corner. He just ran right through. He just drove right through him. So not exactly sure what happened between those guys, but just a bad day for the 7-car to start. And we've been singing Justin Haley's praises all season long. And Corey LaJoie finished 35th too, so he still sucks. But Justin Haley finishing 34th there. So yeah, that was my checkers and wreckers. And let's see some other stuff from the race. C. Bell had a great car. He didn't lead a whole lot of laps, though. He only led 3 times. Denny Hamlin trying some different strategies. He led 3 times for 21 laps. He finished 3rd. Ryan Blaney led a shit ton of laps. He led 47. He finished 2nd. And then Chase Elliott doing really well. He finished top 5. He led 6 times for 81 laps. And he had a really great car early on, too. Like, he was making some great passes and stuff. I'm surprised Chase hasn't won in the playoffs yet, because he's been running really well in the playoffs.
His day is coming. I don't know. I'm close to thinking about taking Chase. The only problem is that he's got 1 win. That's a shock too, because he's been so consistently good this year that having 1 win is wild.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show you how hard it is to win.
Yeah, so in the regular season, going back to that graphic that I retweeted, Bump and Run Pod on Twitter. So he finished the regular season 2nd best average finish, right around like 11.5. And right now he's sitting 6th in the playoffs with the best average finish, and it's just slightly worse. He's sitting around like 13.5. So he's having great runs. It's just he didn't.
The only thing killing him is there's no playoff points. How many stages has he won? Give me a second here.
Like
2?
None. Yeah, and that's been his problem this whole playoffs, where like he's been running super consistent, but he came in with no points.
He's got 1 win. He just doesn't have those points accumulated. Although he's ripped off a ton of top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes. You need those playoff points throughout races, and I don't know if it's an Alan Gustafson thing where they don't have the right strategies going, but it's the only reason why I think he's not in the top 4 right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a curious case of Chase.
It's also been a hell of a season for like you said, the Reddicks of the world, the Larsons, the Christopher Bells,
where they've just been consistently winning stages and stuff. Like how many stage wins does Kyle Larson have? It's like 11 or something like that. Like something.
Kyle Larson, 12 stage wins. Yeah,
right.
Christopher Bell has 11 stage wins.
Let's see. Atlanta was the opening race, right?
Yes. Denny Hamlin, 7 stage wins. Tyler Reddick, 6 stage wins. William Byron has only 2 stage wins.
Let's see. I think Chase Elliott started the season with 14 playoff points. Oh, because you get 5 for the win. He probably had a couple other, right? Or you get 10 for the win. No, 5 for a win.
5 for a win.
Yeah, he started above the cut line plus 14. I don't know how many playoff points that truly is. I think it's 14, right? That would have been 14 playoff points. I just went back to my notes from the first season for the first race of the playoffs. But like you said, it's been an uphill battle for him all season long.
Not to his detriment, just because there's been so many good cars this year. I mean, not so many good cars, but he's had probably 4 guys that have been just a little bit better than him.
Yeah.
And when I say better, only because they've gotten to stack some wins up and he hasn't.
Yeah. Let's see. Sixth place, William Byron. He got stage points all day. He was never really up front. He was in the back of the top 10. Same with Bowman. AJ Allmendinger, surprise top 10 there. I didn't expect that one, starting 32nd, finished 8th. Carson Hosfar to Eric's checkers, finishing 9th. And then Ryan Preece finishing 10th. That's a surprise. Haven't seen Ryan Preece's name in a while. Stuart Haas had some fast cars though this weekend. Noah Gragson was number 1 in practice in like all lap averages, which was surprising. I almost played him in fantasy. I didn't. Thankfully, I didn't because he finished 19th. Other than that, Martin Truex Jr., he had stage points in both stages. I don't know what happened to him. He finished 23rd. Probably got just kind of shuffled out with different varying strategies and whatnot. And Bubba Wallace had a decent beginning. He had a decent first stage. He finished 2nd in the first stage. Led once for 2 laps. Qualified really well. Fell apart. I played him in fantasy. And fantasy was tough this week, man. I think you won fantasy, actually.
I think no. I was leading. So I did check during my protest. I wasn't protesting hard enough where I didn't check my fantasy.
Yeah.
And I was leading for a while, and I was like, I wonder if Whitey's secretly pissed off at me because I'm not watching this race and I'm still winning. And for anyone outside, like nobody cares that's not in our fantasy league, right? But like me, so the top three finishers in our league get paid out, right?
Yeah. And
me and Whitey are 4th and 5th right now, and we're right on 3rd's ass. And like the past month or so, Whitey and I have been in a pretty tough, tight battle.
We've been battling back and forth with like a 10-point differential outside of the 3rd place that pays out, and we're only 30 points behind 3rd place right now. And so we've been battling each other for a while. I wasn't pissed off. I was just more hoping you forgot to set a lineup.
No way, man. Fantasy, gambling, and money. I don't forget that shit.
Yeah, that reminds me. Because we had 2 people drop out of the fantasy, I have to ask your opinion on the payout. Okay. But I'll do that. I'll do that off air because we're $100 shorter now. So I'll talk to you because you know fantasy better than I do in terms of like paying people out and stuff like that. So. What should we call it? Let's see. That's pretty much all I have, though. It was just a really great day for playoff driver battles throughout the race. And then here on the Bumper Run podcast, everyone loves to talk about the winner, one Tyler Reddick on a Monday. We also have to talk about the guy who was the loser. That was one JJ Reilly in the 44 car, big old Chevy logo on the side. He had some damage to the right side. I didn't see how he got the damage, but that ended his day. I tell you what, I was praying for a caution to come out at that point because Reddick needed the caution at that point. I thought that was gonna be it. Although at the same time, I was like hoping it wasn't because it was like a little too early where guys just kind of cycled through their pit stops and stuff. So I was like, oh, is everyone are they just gonna stay out and he's gonna get screwed or not? Either way, in the end, it worked out. JJ Reilly never made it back out on the track. He only lasted 223 laps. And then let's see. We're heading to Martinsville. Should be a slugfest, I hope. We'll see. Also, hopefully the tire is a good one. They're saying it's the softest tire that they've brought to Martinsville ever in the next gen. So looks like it's going to be like the prime tire from the test that they had. Right. And so hopefully we see some good tire fall off. I don't know what the weather in Martinsville is going to be like. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer and we see some tire degradation. But Friday night, Trucks on Track, 6 p.m. for the Zip Buy Now, Pay Later 200 on FS1. Xfinity on Track, 4 p.m. for the National Debt Relief 250 on the CW. And then Sunday Cup on Track, 2 p.m. for the Xfinity 500 on NBC. To go over our picks from last week, I picked Kyle Larson. He got me 24 points. I came last, so I picked first. Eric picked William Byron. He got him 39 points. And then, Matt, you picked Christopher Bell. He got you 46 points. You go last. Eric goes second, and I go first. Now, typically,
I've got a 57-point lead on Eric. If
it could be big.
I could pretty much if the right things happen in Martinsville, I can pretty much solidify my championship.
Lock it up mathematically.
Last year, for anyone that's not familiar, last year I had a monster lead all throughout the season. And then Eric, little by little by little throughout the playoffs, chipped away and eventually ended up catching me and beating me last year. Same thing happened this year where I had a monster lead. At one point I was over like 120 points over Eric. And he started chipping away. And so, yeah, I've got 57 points on him right now. He was a lot closer at a couple weeks ago. And then I started kind of pulling away again. So I'm trying to avoid a reoccurring theme here.
It's insane how this happens to you every single season, though, where you get such a great lead.
I'm not giving it up this year. I'm winning the championship. Now, although Eric isn't the first to pick because he's not here, he was able to just go ahead and just give us his pick, which I'm assuming it doesn't affect you, right? Because
so right now I'm kind of up in the air because it's Martinsville. Who do we always go for at Martinsville? Slick Willie 2 clocks, you know?
Yeah.
And he needs the win. I know William Byron wants the win because he's 7 points to the good right now. He doesn't want to worry about points battles. He wants to go out there, qualify really well, go out there and just get the win. The problem I'm having right now, the conundrum that I'm facing is there's another guy above the cut line who I know is probably thinking the same exact thing. And he's also very good at Martinsville. He finished 7th here last year. He finished 1st the year before that. So now it's like, man, do I pick Christopher Bell or do I pick Slick Willie 2 clocks? It's a tough decision, right? I think I'm going to do it though. I think that Christopher Bell doesn't want to give anything to chance. He's going to go into this race thinking he needs to win no matter what. And I think he gets it fucking done because Christopher Bell is a clutch driver. And I'm going with Christopher Bell, lock himself into the championship race at Martinsville.
I like it. I like it. I really do. You couldn't go wrong with either one of those picks. Honestly, I was going to take whoever you didn't, but I was leaning towards who doesn't take William Byron. But before I make my pick, my official pick, obviously Eric gets to make his pick. He did send it in to us. Here's the thing, though, Eric, you're not here, man. You don't get to call the shots. You're 57 points behind me. So it's super unfortunate that you have picked Ryan Preece for this race.
No, you didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Ryan Preece is a good driver here.
Not bad. But Eric, a guy that if you were listening to me a couple minutes ago, I said could probably get it done here. Don't be surprised if he gets it done here.
We were blowing him a little bit.
Chase Elliott. He took the 9 of Chase Elliott, and I really, really like that pick a lot. And it makes me really nervous. And I'm going to take the 24 of William Byron because I can afford to give up some points, but I don't want to give up a lot. And at the risk of jinxing a catastrophe for the 24, I think he'll do enough to give me enough points to get my championship locked in.
So I know Chase has at least one win at Martinsville, the 2020 championship run. He won here. Does he have other wins here, though? What are his stats?
I believe that's the only cup win. Give me a second, and I will get you that answer.
Because, yeah, so the only reason why I ask, it does look like he's a little up and down. I wondered if it was as good of a pick, because I was like, man, I don't really know Chase at Martinsville. Here's the thing, though. I just remembered, and I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat for this one. This is the 20th anniversary of the plane crash for Hendrick Motorsports.
Yep.
If Hendrick doesn't win this race, I'd be shocked. So
I know.
Now I'm like, man, should I pick Kyle Larson the second week in a row just because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I think Hendrick is going to bring some fucking fast cars. And what a story. If Chase Elliott got himself locked into the round of 4 with that one. So
Well, it was 2021 with the new car, right? Yeah, 2021. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 races in the next gen car at Martinsville. Just give me a quick second. I'm pulling up stats.
He's gonna need the win though, because he's -4.
And Matt taking forever to get the stats. All right. Chase Elliott out of active drivers. Again, the last 7 races at Martinsville in the next gen car has the second best points accumulation behind only Ryan Blaney.
Okay. Blaney's another guy. He needs to get a win to get in.
Now, Chase doesn't have a win at Martinsville because keep in mind that one win at Martinsville came in the former generation.
It was the
car.
old car, yeah.
He does not have a win in the next gen car at Martinsville. He does, out of 7 races, he does have 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s and a pole. But he does, again, have the second most points accumulated over that time span. So, yeah, super consistent there. He's led 675 laps in 7 races there. His average start is 7.3, average finish 9.7. So, yeah, he's been super consistent.
I tell you what, if it wasn't for Joey Logano, the outlier, just showing like, oh, this format kind of sucks, we would all be so excited over this whole entire playoff run, like this final round going into the round of 4, because right now you're looking at Ryan Blaney, who you just said has the best average or best points accumulation at Martinsville. He's 38 points outside looking in. We have Chase Elliott, the second best points accumulation. He's -43 points looking in. And then we have Denny Hamlin. He's -18. Denny
has the 3rd most points accumulation at Martinsville.
Now he always runs really well. He just doesn't have the wins there. He hasn't won in almost a decade at Martinsville, which is shocking.
That's shocking. That's a shocking stat.
Right?
I did not know that. That's shocking.
I was shocked too. I think his look up his last win at Martinsville. I think it was like 2013 or something like that. So, or maybe a little bit sooner than, but at least almost a decade. And then we have William Byron. Just like Willie Two Clocks. He's 7 points to the good. We have Christopher Bell, 29 points to the good. Any one of these guys I could see winning at Martinsville. I'm hoping it is a knockout, drag-out slugfest of a race. We will find out Sunday, 2 p.m. on the for the Xfinity 500 on NBC. Who will it be? Will it be Slick Willie Two Clocks getting another clock, locking himself into the round of 4 and running for a championship? Will it be Christopher Bell locking himself in? Or will it be Chase Elliott, the current underdog, sitting in 8th place to try to win his way in?
2015 was the last win for Denny at Martinsville. Holy shit, 9 years ago.
Almost a decade. We'll see if Denny can win his way into the round of 4, and we will break it all down for you right here on the Bump and Run podcast for Matt the Statman Reilly.
Sorry to interrupt. Serious question.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday is the election. Do we let that interfere with us recording?
Nah, man. I don't.
Right.
Well, I go right after work, so
I'm going sometime during the day, so it won't affect me. I'll have.
I do fucking love watching election coverage, and
yeah. That's the thing. I just like watching the election. It's up to you. Up to you.
Do we want to watch the election coverage, or do we want the distraction?
No matter what way it goes, right? I know.
We'll play it by ear. We'll play it by ear.
Maybe it'll be good for our mental capacities if we take 2 hours away from the election and do the podcast.
It might be better. It might be better. You know what's going to happen? Because then I'm just going to put it on while I edit the podcast.
I have a TV right here. It's going to be on whether we do it or not.
I'm just going to update like as I'm doing it late at night, and then I'm going to be up until 1 a.m. like I always am anyways. We got some...
the election's a late one. Every 4 years I'm up.
Well, and the thing is, Pennsylvania doesn't count mail-in ballots until after. And honestly, like I'm just curious about our local races and stuff, you know? I'm just
genuinely curious.
Yeah,
doesn't matter who I'm for. I'm just genuinely curious on the elections.
Yeah, we got a fierce House of Representatives battle in our district here. We got a Senate Senate battle, and then we got some House representatives for the Pennsylvania House. So I want to see Michaela Cathio get fucking destroyed. I just can't stand getting her fucking flyers in the mail with her face on them.
I'm sick of every party, both parties,
dude,
every candidate. I'm sick of all of them because of the commercials and the phone calls and the texts. I'm just like, I more or less want to watch on Tuesday to kind of celebrate that all that's good. Either whoever the hell wins, it's all going to be, at least I'm not going to be getting the fucking commercials.
Mailers.
I honest to God, dude. I mean, I watch a lot of sports. I don't remember the last time I saw a normal commercial.
Oh yeah, no.
Almost every time it's like back to back political ads, and then back to the program,
and then
it's
you
like
get an Arby's ad in between.
Maybe an Arby's ad. Maybe
if
an
you're
Arby's
lucky.
ad. I'm watching. So the World Series Game 4 is on right now, and so I have it on my phone. And as we speak, there's a Kamala Harris commercial on.
Yeah. I wish that I saved all of the flyers that came in the mail for Michaela Cathio and Jim Haddock, for both of them, because they're both in Pittston. So I could just drop them off back at their doorstep and go, take your garbage back. Just take it back.
Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Just leave me the fuck alone.
All right. So maybe next Tuesday.
We'll find out. But first, who will it be? Will it be Christopher Bell? Will it be Slick Willie 2 Clocks? Or will it be Chase Elliott? I remembered all three this week. We will break it all down for you either Monday or Tuesday night. For Matt the Statman Reilly, for Eric Daytona Ron, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.